Hello again, everybody. Zack Attack is here, my WWE. Well, it's not Elimination Chamber review yet, but it's the last wall before Elimination Chamber review for Monday, February 19th, 2018, from Phoenix, Arizona. Like I said, this is the last wall before the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. And when it comes to building for the main event, for the chamber, well, we'll see which chamber match will be the main event when it comes to men's or women's. Since the women's rumble was the main event of the Royal Rumble, maybe the men will main event the chamber, especially with the women main eventing one tonight, because the Gauntlet Match opened up the show, and it was one of the longest matches in Raw history. If you count it as one giant match full of 6 sub-matches in the Gauntlet overall, you had about almost 2 hours with an Iron Man who wants to make Raw into Monday Night Rollins. Great performance from him tonight in the Gauntlet. When it comes to the rest of the matches, didn't get a lot of build. We didn't get one match made. A new match made. At least it'll make this feud over with. This feud's been okay. They added a match for tonight, but should have been better. Creative's been shitty on it. And we still don't know who's going to face the tag team champions yet. Maybe we'll find out soon. And who's going to be in the pre-show match. But it's been a very interesting day in wrestling. With Ring of Honor getting the new streaming service Honor Club. Having first day problems like the WWE Network's first day. People couldn't get in. I finally did. But besides Ring of Honor talk, the biggest talk of wrestling, especially in the WWE, is who's going in the WWE Hall of Fame. They announced the 4th member. I don't know if I said it last week, but Ivory's getting in. Should have been China, but hey. Ivory's getting in alongside Dudley's and Goldberg. And we got our 4th competitor announced for the Hall of Fame. And this requires a t-shirt change. Yes, it's true. The founder of TNA, the king of the mountain, what do you want to call him? He's, of course, Jeff, Jarrett, double J, Jeff fucking Jarrett is going in the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2018. Hell is officially frozen over. Dogs can fly. Dogs and cats can get along. And Jeff Jarrett's going in the Hall of Fame. Despite his wrestling being decent, of course being brought up by Jarrett, famous promoter in Memphis, Jeff did okay in Mid-South before heading off to the WWF in 1993 with the country music gimmick alongside the roadie. Bet you $10 it was Road Dogg who probably suggested to get Jeff Jarrett in the Hall of Fame. I think a lot of reasons why I believe Jeff's going in the Hall of Fame. Besides his work in WWF, he was also in WCW for a bit before heading back to WWE back in 1998 with Deborah Puppies! She came over from WCW as well. Then he teamed up with Owen Hart to his untimely death in 1999 and had Don't Piss Me Off at the guitar before heading back again to WCW in mid-1999 2000, even having an ill-fated, shitty version of NWO in 2000, but calling everybody slap nuts. For going on to, of course, found TNA. Like most TNA stars WWE has, they don't want to mention TNA's history. And they didn't mention Jeff Jarrett's TNA history at all in the promo package. We'll see if they even do it leading towards the Hall of Fame. Which is why I believe Jeff Jarrett's in with the company, again, back in the good cases, is because of the rehab. He had a bit drunk problem, drinking problem last summer, which got exonerated from TNA once again when he tried to combo up with his global force. And the rehab was paid for by WWE. The rehab that's been provided to former superstars if they need it. Which Jeff took it and needed. I think that's one reason why Jeff's back in the good graces of WWE. And I think it's like with Angle. When Angle came back to WWE last year to be in the Hall of Fame, it wasn't just to be in the Hall of Fame. It's to be back in the family of the WWE and do stuff with them. That could be the same thing with Jarrett. Jarrett could be a talent scout. Maybe a spy for his global force. Who knows? But it's a whole lot of interesting. that Jeff Jarrett, of all people, is in the Hall of Fame. Imagine Ivory's in. It would be more ironic if China was indeed going in, because that's the woman who beat Jeff Jarrett for the IC Championship in 1999 to become the first and still only female Intercontinental Champion. When Jarrett threatened to walk out of the company because it was the last day of his contract was up and was refusing to take the pin from China, blah, 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 blah. There's a whole story about it. It's all over the internet about that day when Jeff almost refused to lose to China because of his contract was up. So, there you go. Jeff freaking Jarrett in every Hall of Fame. But let's kick off with a match. A gauntlet match. A freaking gauntlet match. Kick us off. And it was a long one. It was almost 2 hours. And we were thinking it was going to be a six-woman chamber. We thought it would be a six-man chamber too. But the events of last week's cliffhanger ending with Seth Rollins and Finn Balor both pinning Bray Wyatt in a last chance fatal 5-way, we thought at that cliffhanger ending, hey, we're going to get a match between Balor and Rollins and have one of them win and get the final slot. But as I was making my review last week, they said, screw it, let's make it a 7-man. We like our fatal triple threats turning into fatal 5-ways on SmackDown. What the hell, let's do a 7-man chamber match. That means we have a 7-man gauntlet to begin our evening. Now, a lot of people are saying after this was announced, how are they going to do it? We're not getting an extra pod, so we're going to have 3 guys start. Be Miz and 2 others, because Miz will start no matter what. First, and Elias will still be last, even with an extra man. But it is interesting to have 7-man in a chamber match. But we will begin this gauntlet with Seth freaking Rollins and Roman Reigns. Right from the get-go, it's interesting that not only this gauntlet would open up Raw to begin with, but the first match of the gauntlet would be Rollins and Reigns. Reigns came out first with resounding boos from the fans in Arizona, talking about how he's looking forward to Sunday more than tonight. He's looking forward to winning the chamber match, predictably, and beating Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. And he's like, I had him at WrestleMania 31. I had him beat for that championship. Until, cue the music of the guy who cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase at that said Mania, Seth Rollins. So, a good match with these two. Good action to start off, man. Like, the first couple matches in this gauntlet match went, like, really long. This one went at least 25-30 minutes. Because I thought this entire first hour was going to be dedicated to the gauntlet. Okay, first hour. Ended up being almost the entire first 2 hours. But it was a good match. I know some people say, it was boring and kind of dragged a bit. It was still exciting. Would you rather watch 2 hours of wrestling or an hour of wrestling and a bunch of fucking promos? We didn't get a lot of them. Although there was kind of interviews in between the matches. That was kind of weird. But a good action. Reigns was going for, there were some good spots in this one. I love the spot when Rollins was going for a big move and got Superman punched in midair by Reigns. I thought that was it. But it wasn't. He got speared a couple times, but surprisingly, Rollins got some big moves in, some big powerbomb and Falcon arrows and all that, before delivering the surprise roll-up, because Roman counted a curb stomp attempt from Rollins. He tried to pin Rollins, but Rollins reversed it with his own roll-up. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, Roman lost clean. Seth Rollins wins the first match in the gauntlet. He was the Iron Man of this gauntlet. It would face off against John Cena, who is next in the gauntlet. Out of all the matches in the gauntlet, this was probably the best one. And Rollins proved once again why he should be a singles guy and not a tag team guy. He's kind of been lost in the shuffle for the last year and a half since his return. You know, mostly the last year. You know what I mean? After his feud with Triple H died out, you know, he wasn't important. He wasn't high up on the food chain anymore when it comes to booking. And of course, we teamed up with Ambrose for a bit. That was fun until Seth and a partner against the club every other fucking week became too old. It became the feud that never ends. Finally does. But this match we've seen out there, the match at SummerSlam 2015, this was really good action. This was like the longest match of the gauntlet and the best one. But at least 30-40 minutes. It was crazy. So many false finishes. Cena even went for Super FU again, like he did last week, to whoever he wrestled last week, Miz. But he didn't do a super FU tonight. Both went for submission attempts, like Cena did an FU, and then Rollins would reverse it to crossface. Good spots in the matchup. Great action, back and forth. Lots of false finishes, including an FU. I thought it was over after numerous attempts at it. But eventually, after numerous attempts at the FU and the SCFU and the final knuckle shuffle, it had to take 2 attempts for Cena to successfully do it. Rollins would get the victory over Cena by doing a cup stomp to him. So Rollins beats both Cena and Roman clean in this gauntlet. So, yay for Rollins. But then here comes Elias. With Rollins beat for wrestling for almost an hour, Elias would take full advantage of a weakened Rollins. He would pound on Rollins, trying to get a quick pin, but it would later make him drift away. And Elias would move on to the next match in the gauntlet against Finn Balor. These two had a little mini feud back in spring when Elias first debuted the main roster. So a little callback to that. These are a little action from these two in this part of our gauntlet match. Right before this, though, Rollins did get a standing ovation from the fans. And he does deserve that standing ovation. He was, like I said, the MVP in the gauntlet match. He went 3 full matches, especially the first two, which was like at least 30, 40 minutes each. That made this gauntlet match almost 2 hours. And the reason why the match went as long as it did was the first 2 gauntlet matches being as long as they were. So then Elias would target Balor's arm throughout the matchup. And then Balor came up with his big moves, the big sling blade and the drop kicks before starting off Elias with the coup de grace and the victory in this portion. But at least Elias still gets to go in last in the chamber. We didn't get to hear him sing tonight, but he'll give a big performance during the chamber, maybe because he is last. But he'll probably like be the first one to like make an entrance and do a song. But he's the last to enter the match. So there you go. So Balor would face off next against The Miz, the Intercontinental Champion. But he got distracted for a bit as the Miztourage would go down the aisle first. Distracted Balor long enough for Miz to come up from behind from the crowd. We had a lot of Miztourage action during not just this match, but also the next match. Spoiled the ending. But despite Balor's best efforts, he got numerous distractions from the Miztourage. Numerous distractions, especially one point when they were attacking on his arm. The ending came when he was going for the coup de grace. And the distraction of the Miztourage really heated up. He even did a splash move on both of them. But the splash move didn't take him out for long as he got distracted trying doing a coup de grace. With both guys on the apron, punched them both out, but Miz would capitalize, tripping up Balor before setting him up for the Skull Crusher finale and the victory for the Miz. He was smiling, but his smile went away when he realized the crowd was chanting who was next in the gauntlet match. Who was going to enter the gauntlet match last would no other be Braun Strowman. After his funny-ass segment with Elias last week, he just destroyed the Miz. He destroyed the Miztourage. What can you say? Elias got beaten up by Strowman last week, and this week it was Miz's turn to get beat up by Strowman. Easy little squash here, despite Miz's best effort. Even delivering a Skull Crusher finale at one point to Strowman. That was an accomplishment in itself. But then Miz would eat Strowman's finisher in the power slam in the victory. But Strowman was not finished with Miz! As he would deliver multiple power slams to Miz and the Miztourage to end this match, this overall match. Like, if you were to count the gauntlet match as one giant match, instead of like individual matches, we only had 3 real matches tonight. But if you want to count the gauntlet matches in individual form, we had 8 matches tonight. So we were saying drag, but it was still kind of exciting. You know, I've non-stop wrestling for almost 2 hours. That's great. You know, we put the wrestling in WWE. Braun would deliver a little promo after his big win over The Miz. Being the IC champion. Interesting that, well, at least Miz got some heat back from losing to Cena last week, but he got beat by Strowman. And him against Balor, he was supposed to feud with Balor for the IC championship, but they may say that for Mania now. Especially because I heard Rollins wasn't going to be in the chamber match itself because he had another injury. A back injury. Damn, Rollins had injuries before Mania. The last 3 years been hampered with injuries. He was out for Mania 32 because of this knee. His knee got hurt again before Mania 33, and he almost missed that Mania, but he made it anyway. And he had a back injury that almost made him miss Mania again. But it was a minor thing. So that's why he was allowed to enter the chamber match. That's what happened last week. That's why he got inserted in that match, and the match ended the way it did, with Rollins being the chamber match alongside Balor. So again, the momentum, the Strowman. He was the last one to enter, and the last one to leave victorious. So there you go. But the MVP was definitely Seth freaking Rollins. But we have that match. We also got some matches for the chamber. We got the 2 chamber matches, women's and men's. We also got Asuka against Nia Jax. Despite the fact that Asuka hasn't officially decided on which champion she'll face, we're thinking Bliss, but it might be Charlotte after all, especially with Ronda Rousey coming in. And the fact Asuka can choose any brand. Interesting scenario with her match with Nia Jax this Sunday, that if Nia wins, she get inserted into the Raw Women's title match at Mania, which won't happen because Asuka won't lose. But Asuka's delivering an interview with Renee Young, despite her lack of injury. She did an okay little promo, little interview about Nia Jax, not an ID for Asuka, basically. But then as Asuka was talking, Nia Jax came out from the crowd and attacked Asuka, delivering some nasty moves, including some more drop, laid out Asuka. So that means Asuka wins Sunday, huh? Big moment was a little tiny nip slip. I was on social media, people were saying, oh, Asuka's nipple got exposed. Well, if you look really closely, after one of the Samoan drops, there was a little stitch of a nipple shown. So, like a little tiny slip from Asuka. So, then we'll see what happens this Sunday. These two have history in NXT. And Nia's like, I can beat you. You lost to Asuka twice, woman. So, see what happens this Sunday. So, now we have our next match. The tag team champion, The Bar, who I can mention still hasn't gotten an opponent yet, but this might determine their opponent for this Sunday. As they took on in another match, non-title. We have Titus Worldwide. We have Titus O'Neil and the newly rechristened Apollo, losing his last name. Apparently, they did not want any misunderstanding with the whole Florida shooter thing. That the Florida shooter's last name just happened to be Cruz. So they made Apollo choose his last name at the worst possible time. They're trying to get him over. They're a great comedy team. And he had a fucking t-shirt in the making. Last week they had a slogan, Cruz can't lose. Well, that slogan just went out the window now that Apollo's last name is gone. Follow Apollo could be a next phrase, but Cruz can't lose. I said it last week, that could have been a t-shirt. And now with this unfortunate timing, with this tragedy, and the guy, the alleged shooter, being last name Cruz, even though the different spelling, C-R-U-S, C-R-U-Z, not C-R-E-W-S. It's kind of a dumb way to do it, but worst timing. Apollo was at a t-shirt. So, there goes those plans. Anyway, they wanted to get another surprise victory over the Bar. They did have a tag team title match a few weeks ago against the Bar, but did not win that. So, they want to get their hands again on the champs in a non-title match. The champs look good early. This okay little matchup here. Double teaming left and right. The signature moves of the Bar was shown big time. Isolating Titus in the corner before Balor get the hot tag in. Some big drop kicks, some big moves, probably some big splashes. And then all of a sudden, as Cesaro was going to the corner for a big splash in the corner, Apollo rolled down the way. Cesaro got hit in the post, nailed against the post. Apollo would capitalize by rolling up Cesaro. 1, 2, 3. Yes, once again, the club. I always get the Bar and club confused sometimes. What the hell's a club? Maybe they'll be the pre-show match for Revival. Again. For the second pay-per-view in a row. Anywho. So, once again, the Bar loses to Titus Worldwide for like the third time in a non-title match. This may equal a title match this Sunday. I thought we were going to get like a snaz finish with Revival coming in and maybe the aforementioned club to come in and have a multi-man tag team title match for this Sunday. But it might be the Bar against Titus and Apollo again, this time on a pay-per-view for the titles. So this might have been the setup for that title match. That was not named tonight. Maybe they're naming it on social media like they did last week when they had the announcement for Rollins and Balor entering the chamber match having be announced after Raw goes off the air. And I'm going to check if they do that again. And this is going to be the chamber match. Will probably the chamber pay-per-view. Will be the final Raw branded pay-per-view. As I mentioned last week, and also in my video that I posted on Saturday, that they are going to get rid of the B-list branded pay-per-views and have every pay-per-view be a multi-brand pay-per-view. Hopefully we don't get a Raw Super Show again. That's the thing. Like, maybe towards the end of the first brand split, they had both Raw and SmackDown on the same show, Raw Super Show. Hope they don't do that again. Hope it doesn't lead up to that. Just keep the multi-branded pay-per-views, but keep everyone on their own branded show. Don't combine the shows again like he did, like I said, with Raw Super Show in 2011, 2012. I went to a Raw Super Show in 2012. Went before Extreme Rules that year. Anywho, the last branded pay-per-view will be SmackDown, Fastlane. But this is the last Raw branded pay-per-view. So we got, the 2 chamber matches. Asuka and Nia. We're probably going to get an active title match soon. And this wasn't named. Bray Wyatt against Matt Hardy. They had a match on Raw 25. No hype at all. So we thought that's a payoff match. But now, their feud could have been so much better. But the feud building has not been great. Despite great potential from 2 wacky characters. The Woken Matt Hardy's not gone over well. The reactions died down a bit, especially not seeing his Woken Broken universe, despite him getting all the copyrights back from TNA. So, we'll see what happens. If we're ever going to see Vanguard War, we're ever going to see Webby, we're ever going to see King Maxwell, and Senior Benjamin on WWE television. See if that ever happens. Maybe it'll happen this Sunday with these 2 in the final deletion. Well, they had a promo. Okay little promo from these 2. Even Matt Hardy saying that Bray Wyatt will render himself obsolete this Sunday. So hopefully not only do I pray we get some sort of Woken Universe appearance, but also this match to be way better than Raw 25. The match of Raw 25 was sudden, no advertisement at all, and we had the match sucked, really. And it was at the Manhattan Center, who got boned at Raw 25, as we all know. Anywho, now on to our main event match. The Raw Women's Chamber participants in another 6-woman tag. Whoopee! Another 6-woman tag with more significance. With these 6 being in the chamber match for the Sunday. With Alexa Bliss teaming up against Mickie James. That's kind of like bad logic there. It's like, they were in the same team last week. Mickie and Alexa against Absolution. Yet this week, Alexa's with Absolution teaming against Mickie with Bayley and Sasha, who are reluctantly teaming back together again after their great match last week on Raw. There might be a seed planted for Sasha's heel turn this Sunday. Pull that fucking trigger. If you can't pull the trigger on Strowman being a champion, let alone pull the trigger on Strowman winning Sunday instead of fucking Roman this Sunday, pull the trigger finally for Sasha heel turn this Sunday. I mean, lots of reports it could happen. Anywho, the only good thing about this, despite the fact it was Alexa against Mickie, we never saw them face off against each other. They didn't start the match, but Alexa quickly tagged out. And Absolution did all the work. Like last week, when Alexa was on the opposite team. Alexa wasn't even in the match at all. But I think she was in this match a lot longer than last week. After Absolution did all the dirty work. The Bayley even capitalizing on a missed tag. Referee did not see a Bayley tag to Sasha Banks. Mandy did all the work. And I think she bounced a little move with Bayley, but she was coming well. And a great little DDT there. Like little inverted DDT, that's a good move. Like I said, I like Mandy. She's a little bit more talented Eva Marie without the heat. Because when Eva Marie walked out, God, she got as much fucking heat as Woman did. As Woman does. You know what I mean? Eva's probably the second most hated female of all time next to Vicky Guerrero. And Vicky Guerrero would just utter those words, excuse me, the booze would come out. Eva just, all she had to do is just walk out and get her ass booed. Anywho, Sasha did get in legally at last. They got her hands all over Alexa Bliss. They were the double knees. You know, the big moves. At least she didn't almost kill herself. Although there was kind of that moment when Alexa Bliss smacked Sasha's head against the middle turnbuckle. Damn, that was a hard impact. Hard impact on that buckle. And then I was like, who's going to eat the pin this match? Heading towards Sunday. I thought Absolute was going to eat the pin. But ended up being Alexa Bliss eating the fall as she would submit to the bank statement. So this means Bliss retains Sunday, huh? It will probably face up against Rousey, who signs a contract this Sunday. So the match ends after Bliss taps out the bank statement, and Absolution would beat up on the good girls, beat up on Sasha, beat up on Bayley, double team like they did last week. But then after they took out the good girls, they turned their focus on Bliss. We're friends tonight. We were friends tonight, Bliss, but this Sunday, it's every woman for themselves because we're going for your title. But as Bliss was cornered by Absolution, Mickie James, like Alexa Bliss did last week, made the save and they would deliver a double DDT to Sonya Deville to end Raw with them standing tall. We have 6 women. It's everyone for themselves, but we have 3 little factions here. Obviously, you got Mandy Wills and Sonya Deville. Even though it's all in for themselves, at least they can team up as a part of Absolution and isolate the other 4 and make it come down to them 2. If it ever goes down to those 2 being the final 2, even though I don't believe, let alone they won't win, let alone they will be the final 2. Then you got Sasha and Bayley, their best friendship. They have a little teaming up, but I smell Sasha heel turn, like I said, for Sunday. But then we have Alexa Bliss and Mickie James as this little friendship angle they've been building up lately. They were friends on SmackDown. Mickie was brought back to the WWE storyline-wise by Alexa Bliss after facing off against Asuka in NXT, leading towards his comeback late last year. Early last year, should I say, she came back in January of 2017 after wrestling Asuka in November of 16 at NXT TakeOver Toronto. And that was a decent match, seeing Mickie back in WWE and led to this. And now, she got this little beginning of the friendship with Bliss in with their rivalry, which they did address when they were doing this whole friend thing. Last week, they were forced to team up against Absolution. They did bring up the feud from last year. They did bring that up. Especially Mickie being called old by Alexa Bliss, and Bliss being called Biscuit Butt by Mickie James during their feud. So, there you go. See what all this turns out. How this all turns out this Sunday at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. The final one, branded pay-per-view, and Brain Split 2.0 this Sunday on the WWE Network. And we'll see probably the next few days who will face up against the ball officially for the tag team titles. And which match will be the pre-show match. With that being said, you've been attacked by the review from Zach. Thank you so much for watching. See you all. I'm actually going to make a predictions video later this week for the Chamber, so stay tuned for that. And of course, my review of the pay-per-view proper on Sunday. See you then. Bye-bye.